Folks, welcome to Good Crack, episode 9. We got a special guest here today. We're really glad he's here to hang out. It's Mr. John Ronda Jr. He's the one of two members of the Johnny Drinks brand.
Guys,
Johnny Drinks.
Johnny Drink. Look at him. Let me just touch him.
He looks good.
Johnny Drinks, guys. The one and only. And not only is he just a massive success and having a beautiful and incredible online presence, he's also one of our oldest friends.
Yeah.
And as you guys have been following the pod, we now know that old friend doesn't mean friends that you used to be friends with, as Joey used to believe. It's friends that you've had for a while.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Where do you stand on that?
Wait,
if
say that
someone
one time.
says, "Oh, they're an old friend,"
Right.
do you think it's like, "Oh, like not a friend anymore, used to be friend," or it's like, "Oh, they've been a friend for a long time"?
Oh, I guess it depends the tone. It's like, that's an old friend.
I don't know.
That's fair. Well,
Yeah.
I was like, John's an old friend of ours, meaning like I've known John since I was like 13, 14 or something,
Yeah.
you know? And that meant like we've been friends for quite a long time.
Yeah, no, and then I was just like, why'd you say it like that? That sounds like we're not
You're not
friends
boys
with them
anymore?
Yeah.
Well, how would you say it if it was
I know.
somebody
I
that-
think
a
he's.
past,
I think
a
he's
past
right.
friend.
I
would
think
be,
he's right. I
Yeah.
don't know. For some reason, in the moment, I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't sound.
maybe like a good old friend of mine, or like a past friend would be like,
Yeah.
all right, I don't talk to that dude anymore.
I don't know, like there's no terminology for like that's someone I used to be friends with, other than just saying
Or
that.
saying that.
But I don't know. I feel like old friend, like he's an old friend of mine. Yeah, we've been friends.
No,
since
yeah,
30
no.
years.
You're right. I take the L on that one.
You
for
know,
sure.
it's so funny just because, like, between the podcast and stand-up, there's so many times where I'm just, like, fucking motoring my mouth, and I realize I'm using your word in, like, a totally different context. And, you know, like, it was the funniest thing. I was rewatching the Brett podcast, and I said, like, we're so jaded. And he's like, well, not jaded yet because you guys have only been doing it for 2 months. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And then I looked up the definition of jaded, and I thought it meant, like, jaded meaning, like, you're so, like, new to something that you're, like, still, like, nice, like, you're jaded. And I realized it means like you're just tired of something because you've been doing it for so long.
Everyone's watching, just like these two stupid Jersey guinneas.
Well, I was about to say, what does jaded mean? So.
Well, that's what it means.
Makes
it
three
means
of us.
You've been doing something for so long that you've grown tired.
That you're
We're
tired
not
of it.
geniuses. I'm just Italian.
Well, hey, you know.
So John, dude, it's really cool because we've gotten to watch all of this happen secondhand as being, a good friend of yours, and it's been probably, especially the last year and a half, has been pretty wild as far as how much everything scaled up for you.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing to jump into is how did the start kind of happen with you getting onto like social media for like the purpose of content creation and
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny. This crew right here, this has like been the OG content creation crew. Like when I started making content for whatever it was, Stu United, even before that, like you two were the guys that I went to. And I think we've all progressed like together in that sense, and we went our different paths. But it's funny to see like who you started with and now sort of getting back together.
Yeah.
It's definitely a cool feeling. But yeah, I've always had like a super, I don't want to use the word obsession over content creation and social media and influencers. I just always thought it was intriguing how somebody can take something as simple as making content and really turn it into a business, right? And from the outside perspective, it looks like nothing. It looks like they're either doing their dance or telling their jokes. But in reality, there's so much that goes into it behind the scenes. And you guys know more of that than I do. So anyway, I guess hopping into what I'm doing right now, it really happened out of like nothing, right? Like my dad was making a cocktail one night. It was pre going out to eat. It was like February 2020, so right before.
I was gonna say,
it was right before COVID. Right? Yeah.
Literally the like 2 weeks prior. So he's making a Manhattan. At that time I had no clue what a Manhattan cocktail was, and I was like 24 years old. So that's interesting to me, like how much lack of knowledge that I had.
Thought
in
it
cocktails.
was just clam chowder.
I was like, whatever the fuck that is. I like, it doesn't even look good. So he's making it. I'm filming him do it. I was like, hey, what's a Manhattan? And I made this video, put it in my pocket, threw some Frank Sinatra in the background. And that night I checked on my phone, and I had TikTok on my phone for like a week at this time. Checked on my phone. It was going really well. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And the comments started flooding in, and it was a lot of excitement because it was like me, my dad, and like our whole family, like our cousins, and everybody was there. And now everybody's in on this. We're like, I'm showing my cousins, and like we're reading the comments, having a good time. The next morning, it's going really well still. And then
at this point, it has like millions of views though, right?
Yeah, like millions of views. It was like our first clip. So I like to say like I got super lucky in that sense where people normally strategize this sort of stuff. Like you guys are now starting this podcast, you're thinking, okay, how can we take what we're doing and maximize, the efficiency and make sure we're doing all the right things and going in the right direction, all this good stuff, as you should be, right?
Right.
But for me, it kind of just happened, and I think that's like the best case scenario, obviously. So then quarantine hits us, and we had nothing else to do. So I'm sitting home, and my dad and I might as well make cocktails every day, and that's what we did, right? So it seemed to work over and over again, and that's like the one thing that I like to say to people is like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. If you find that content is working for you, whether you're shooting it on a shitty old phone with poor quality lighting, it's working for you. Don't change it up because you think you've reached this level of status that you need a great quality camera or a different actor, like whatever it may be. So this kept working to the point where now it was a couple months in, and I really had to make the decision, okay, let's legitimize this or let's not, right? This is a fun hobby, or it could be something pretty serious. And obviously we chose the latter and said, let's commit to it. We have nothing to lose type of thing. And then there was a point where it really started taking off. And now you hit like the 1 million follower situation. You have brands coming at you and all these different exciting opportunities. And to the point where now we're at about 1.5 million followers on TikTok. We have like 415K on YouTube, which YouTube, by the way, we were like one of the fastest growing YouTube pages on the platform in like July of this year. So we started our YouTube in July, and July in 28 days, we had like 100 million views. We had 300,000 subs. So it was crazy. Like that growth obviously wasn't sustainable, but it's one of those things where like you got to expect it to die off eventually. You know what I mean? Keep doing what you're doing, keep posting on a consistent basis, but that isn't reality either. And so obviously we trended back down to a more reasonable growth rate, which is fine with me, but it was really cool to see that they sort of resonated with us the same way TikTok did. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, like I said, I always loved this stuff, but never really had a niche of my own. So when I saw this starting to happen, I was like, this is it. Like, I got it. I want to double down and make sure we legitimize this as much as we can.
Yeah.
Well, as listeners of the Good Crack podcast know, I, over quarantine, was making plenty of cocktails, and I wish I knew all I had to do was film myself doing it.
Literally.
I was just a drunken asshole, though, but
Watching
who
Mad
knew
Men.
I could have been the next
Watching
Charlie
Mad Men.
D'Amelio.
Well, dude, I was thinking like, I was going through your YouTube, and I was like, everyone hates their fathers or like has horrible relationships
oh my
with their
God,
fathers.
man.
I
was just
the funniest
reading.
thing is
I read like
seeing-
10 comments in a row that are like, me and my old man hate each other, so it's really nice to see this. And I'm just like, wow.
Fuck,
I
right?
think the majority of the world has terrible relationships with their parents.
Sorry that you guys have so much trauma.
Yeah, I mean, well, dude, that is one of the things that I never expected. Is number one, the overwhelming amount of support, but number two, like the amount of people that reach out to us, as in like we have helped them through things, and I'm like, holy fuck, man! Like, either like you said, they don't have fathers, or they don't have a good relationship with their father, so they reach out and rely on us, almost like live vicariously through. But I will say, number one, I definitely appreciate it, but this is social media, right? The grass ain't always greener, and my dad, and my our relationship. It's not perfect, and honestly, it's probably not what anybody expects at all. Like, we fight like cats and dogs. We don't agree with a lot of what we do. I would honestly say, and people ask us all the time, like, we made 10 TikToks. I would say we argue through 8 of them. I swear to it's
This is
probably
an exclusive, folks.
the only times we don't
Behind the
argue is
scenes.
when it's like, no, I was going to say, no, never mind. Like, we did a review yesterday for Twisted Tea, and we have like a couple million views overnight. Like, that's actually doing really well. And I was about to say we didn't even argue through that, and we did. Like, there's just little things where he's like, oh, let me say this instead of that. I'm like, no, just like stick to the damn script, bro.
Damn
like,
it, Dad.
like,
Shut up.
like, come on, man.
What are you doing, Charlie?
I'm just reading the Daily. What about you, friend?
Oh, same here. See the headline. We save balls.
Huh, who saves balls?
Well, I'll tell you. Manscaped, the first name in precision hair removal for men. Let me tell you something about this product, Charlie. It's some of the best stuff I've seen on the market. Breaking news, the Lawnmower 4.0. It has this skin-safe sensitive technology that prevents you from nicking your balls.
Oh, I nick my balls all the time. I hate that so much. I do it so often that I actually stopped shaving my balls and body.
Stop shaving your balls. You probably got an undersection that looks like Rasputin's beard out in Russia. Your wife
not
won't
a
like
fan.
that.
Oh, she's not. Do you know
Oh,
that?
I'll tell you what. My wife almost left me because my hair on my chest and my pubic region was just overwhelming. She said she was picking it out of her teeth with the Sunday dinner. I said, Toots, listen, I'm sorry about that. I want to be a better man for you. So what did I do? I went to Manscaped, right? And what did they give me? They gave me the Lawnmower 4.0 to shave my balls with the skin-safe technology that prevents nicks. I got the Weed Whacker. Lets me get those nose hairs out. Lets me get the ear hairs out.
Let me tell you this. Can you imagine a sleek, designed product, a product that works well, a product that you can depend on? I actually was one of the first people to try out the 4.0, and I gotta tell you, it is a fantastic product. I shaved my balls. I shaved my midsection. I even shaved my fucking chest and stomach.
You know what? I even got in that undersection in between the balls and the anus. What is that called?
I think
the kids are calling it the gooch.
Yeah.
You could get in there. Skin-safe technology prevents those nicks that usually have you bleeding out your underside. You don't want that, folks.
No, you don't.
It's not fun. It's disgusting, and people will hate you for it.
Would you rather people called you Joey Hairy Nuts or Joey Gooch?
Joey Bloody Nuts. No, you don't want that.
You don't want
Believe
bloody
me,
nuts.
folks.
No, you don't.
And what else do we have here? We got the ball deodorant for when my balls smell like the inside of the Bronx River. It's disgusting. I used to make my wife cringe. My kids hated me. But now, because of the crop preserver ball deodorant, I just lather myself up 3 times a day, 4 times a day.
And
they
you
love
put
it.
it on.
People are walking down the street saying, hey, whose balls smell like the inside of a porcelain rose store? You know what I'm talking about? One of those real nice places in Madison Avenue.
You know what's great about Manscaped? They've engineered the technology. It's smart technology. It's intelligent technology. It's technology that you can...
It's technology for the future, folks. Manscaped is offering a product right now, several products right now, that are going to make your life 10 times better than it's ever been before.
And
I'm
did we
talking
show you
about
this one?
the future.
Did we show you this one? You see that light? That's
It's
a 4,000K LED spotlight.
It's got a light on it, folks. Look at this.
You could use it in the dark.
You could use it in the dark. You could use it in the caves when you're trying to escape the bases of the war when we were all in the war.
Yep.
Because
I
we were
remember
all...
the war.
You remember the war?
You remember the war?
You know what I wish I had during the war? Manscaped
Manscaped.
4.0 lawnmower. I'll tell you what, folks. I could have gotten out of snake holes with the flashlight. I could have buzzed myself and prevented trench foot. But it didn't exist back then, but it exists now, and it will change your life forevermore. And what's that? Bing, 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 bing. I'm getting a news wire in. It's got wireless charging, folks. You just take this guy, you put it in, and it starts charging. No questions asked.
And you know what's great? After you clean your balls, you clean your family jewels, you take a little bit of the Crop Reviver, the ball toner, shake it up, give it a good spray, and your balls, well, they smell like the gardens. They
The
smell
gardens.
like, the botanical gardens.
The botanical gardens. I'll tell you what. I was out on a date with my sweetheart the other day, right? But then who do I see when I go to the bathroom? Marilyn Monroe. And I said, listen, I'm a good man. I'm an honest man. I don't want to cheat on my wife. She's stuck with me through it all, the hairy days and the non-hairy days. But Marilyn Monroe walked by and she said, sir, I can't help but smell that your balls smell like the inside of a beautiful, beautiful garden. And I said, Marilyn, listen, if I was a single man, I would leave my wife for you right now. But I'm not a single man. I would make sweet love to her. I would have made sweet love to her right there in the bathroom of D'Annunzio's Italian clam restaurant. But I didn't because I'm an honest man. But that is just the power of the Manscaped Crop Reviver. It's the best, folks. What can I say?
And you know what is great about this razor? You know what's great about it, Matt? What's great about it is you got options. Maybe you want to trim your balls bare like a baby. Maybe you want a little bit of hair on it so you still look like a man. So they have clips, lengths 1 through 4.
Folks,
Listen, we're not telling you got to shave yourself bare like the ass of a little baby boy. We're telling you maybe clean it up a little bit. Give it a trim. You could still keep a little bit of crop on the field if you know what I'm saying.
Of course. It's all up to you because Manscaped allows you to be the cleanest version of yourself. And we thank Manscaped for the proprietary technology they introduced to this world. I was actually, the last time I saw technology this new and exciting was when Edison came up with the light bulb. I was just a young boy at the time, but now I'm seeing something else. The light bulb for the first time in the modern generation. The Landscaped, Moa, Manscaped 4.0. It's incredible.
And folks, we are glad to announce that the Good Crack podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. You could join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. You're going to get 20% off and free shipping with the code GOODCRACK at manscaped.com. That's 20% shipping off. 20% off with free shipping.
With the code.
Good crack.
Incredible, folks. 20% off, free shipping. Folks, in my day, shipping used to cost 15 nickels a day.
And it would
That's
take,
a lot
it
of
would
money.
take months. You would order a product from the man who rode into town, and he would send it within 3 months to your home.
A carrier pigeon would deliver it. Now it comes in 5 to 7 days. Free shipping, 20% off. That's unreal, folks. You can't believe it.
Folks,
Manscaped.
Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Again, that's manscaped.com.
And use the code GOODCRACK. That's GOODCRACK at checkout for 20% off and free shipping on your order.
Your balls will thank you.
We're saving balls, one trim at a time.
It's super interesting to think about because, like, you know, the internet is what it is right now. It's literally like the forum for the entire world to be in one place at once. And for you to become a major success where you legitimately have hundreds of thousands or millions of people reacting to something in real time, you almost are just doing your own thing and presenting to them what you want to present to them. But then you're seeing the narrative they're pulling out of it.
Right.
100%.
It could have been like, hey, because I was almost like shocked by it in the beginning because I was following along with you as you guys were doing this. It's like, you would think it's just like, oh, these are a bunch of people that want to know drink recipes. But then you see the narrative being like, look at this father and son relationship. Like,
right.
Who's your dad? What does he do?
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting what the internet grabs from something.
You could almost like
and
leverage
you're
that.
watching this like as a puppet master, like, oh, like
Exactly.
Yes,
dude,
you
that
could
is-
literally leverage it to like a Mr. Rogers type show where it's like
1000%.
Father John and Brother John, and it's like, hey guys, there you are. It's welcome home. Let's have
Bro,
dinner together.
You
It's
got
just like-
yeah. I mean, you guys hit it right on the head with that, and that's how I have like zero ego in this game, and you see that by me asking questions if I'm 15 years old, right? Like I'm 25, and now I'm behind the camera asking my dad how to tie a tie, and I have no shame in that because number one, like if you think I don't know how to tie a tie, whatever, I really don't. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
But number two, I know how much that's helping people. And like you said, I'm the puppet master, and I really got to take a step back sometimes and be like, what do they want to see? Because it started as just cocktails, but was that really the reason why they're watching?
exactly.
And the answer really isn't. It is no, because we're not professional bartenders. You're not watching this saying like, "Damn, I want to write down every step they took." It's the feel-good vibes. It's the father-son dynamic. And I think the funniest part is like, I will watch my videos before I ask my dad for. If I really need to learn how to tie a tie again, I would go back to my video before I asked him.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are in that same light where, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, people are commenting these negative things about their relationship with their dad.
Yeah.
But it may just be your perception of your relationship with your dad.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Like, you may have to take a step back and realize, you know what? I do have a really good father at home. Like, I don't appreciate it enough. And I've realized that through this page. Like, I have bashed and, separated myself from my family sometimes. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have a really good thing going here. You got to
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Well, and granted too, it's the internet. Like
100%,
some of these
yeah.
people too, they could actually probably have like amazing relationships,
hate
but
my
they're
dad.
just like, oh, this what'll get 300
Yeah,
likes.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Dude, that's what's so
I hate.
weird. Yeah.
Hopefully
Like you
he'll
never
answer me.
know. Like
It's
for all you
funny.
know,
Yeah,
they
never
could
know.
be like actually have a horrible relationship and they like confide in like in you
Me
guys
just
and
being
in your
like, hey,
content,
yeah.
or they're just like some kid from like perfect suburbia who like, everything's all good
I
and he's
know.
like, I'm gonna blow up.
I
on
gotta
this
be
guy."
honest. In the
Like,
beginning, I loved reading the comments in the beginning on your page because it was like, there's the one guy that's always like, you know how many shots I could have taken.
Dude,
in
where'd
this
he
time?
go?
I don't know,
That
where
guy
did that
maybe
guy go?
passed away. I have no. He was consistent on every
So
one of my
consistent.
page.
And
Every one
I'm
of my
like,
posts,
yeah.
bro.
And then there was like the I want to bang your dad narrative, and I'm like, well, there's.
we'll
that.
get into that.
Yeah.
We're, not-
Yeah,
we're-
we have
we're
to
gonna
talk
get into
that.
that later.
I'm glad we're getting
Because
there.
talking about fucking each other's wives is a big topic on
Right,
this podcast.
but we've never
Okay.
talked about fucking each other's fathers.
But we could start talking about fucking each other's fathers.
This is the
We're talking
podcast
about
to do
you,
it.
John Ronda Sr.
That please don't.
right
listen.
here. I'm kidding, but seriously.
Dude, that is such a good point. That
You
guy
know what I
was
mean?
so
Like the
consistent.
comments, the
I think
funniest
it's
thing you
really
just
cool
said.
that you could like. Sorry to like,
Yeah.
but it's really cool that like someone like that can actually become so known to the person making stuff
You
just
know-
because they
Bro,
comment.
where
Yeah.
are you?
And
I
dude,
want-
you know
where
what's
are
so
you?
funny is like I would watch John respond to a lot of the comments too, and it's like these people don't know fucking John Ronda. I've known John Ronda for 10 years, one of my close friends, and like you're just so like nice and normal about responding to people, and you could tell they're just shit posting.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like you said, like yeah, we're not professional bartenders, like absolutely not. You guys are just making simple drinks that people have probably never heard of. Great, you're doing a service. But then you get that like the comments are great because then you have like that jerk off drink master who has like 0 followers. He's like, you're not even fucking using the right
Yeah,
bitters.
like-
I distill my own fucking simple syrup. And it's like, oh my god, it's so
Like,
funny.
great, dude.
People
Go
on
away
the
content.
internet are like sad as fuck. Like you're doing it the best way because you're like, let me just go have fun with this. And there's guys who are like, you fucking piece of shit. That should be me. And it's like, well, sorry, Guilford, that you're living in your mom's basement distilling methamphetamine simple syrup to make crack juice. The official drink of the Good Crack Podcast.
Yes.
Well, I will say, bro, YouTube is way meaner than TikTok.
Really?
TikTok is
YouTube is ruthless.
And that's
across
when
everything,
bro.
You would think that they're like really restricting people now.
Not even close. I'm almost waiting for the guidelines to be like, hey, step in here, man, help me out, because there are some comments where I'm like, who deserves this? Like, what am I doing? I
Give
posted
me some examples, please.
Like they were like coming for my neck about like us as people and like what we're doing wrong and we're a disgrace and I'm like, holy shit, man, like we're like, we're pretentious individuals, we're the problem with this country. Like
they're typing this as like one nut hangs out of their boxers
literally
as they're sitting at their desk, like
but that's the thing too, like as a content creator, you do get wrapped up in this shit, like you do take it personal sometimes. And I've come back at people, and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, why would I ever say that to somebody? Like, why did I give them that satisfaction? Or, like you said, they may be like super sad people, and I just ruined their day because I was an asshole back. Like, I didn't need to do that type of shit.
It's so interesting. And listen,
I like he has so much more of a conscience than we do.
No,
that's for
sure. And like we like to make a joke at it, but it's so crazy on like a micro level. We're seeing it on a micro level. You obviously see it on a macro level. But like even this week, that kid, like, I don't know if we should talk about it on the podcast, but it's pretty interesting.
No, you know what? We will.
Yeah,
we will.
Yeah, you don't have to name him by name.
No, I won't. I mean, we named him by name in an earlier episode. But so this kid came at us and
like a month ago, right when
on
we were
one of our
starting
videos. He came at like Matt. It was like the ladies that are like going to the Board of Ed over like COVID and stuff. And so like we made like a funny satire video, and this kid came at us commenting like, you guys are fucking idiots. And then like we got in the DMs, and I was just being like funny. He would like say like a paragraph of just shit talk, and I'm like, hey man, we'd really love to have you on the show. And like I invited him on the show because I'm like, dude, have him call in, and we're just gonna like
I
fuck
love
around.
that. We love fucking with you.
And so like he's like, all right, maybe, and then like just kept talking shit, and he's like, forget it. And so then 4 weeks go by. He hits us up last Sunday, and he's like, hey man, I just wanted to say, like, I was a real piece of shit, and like
dude,
I thought about it and this and that, and like you guys like were like so respectful in how you responded, and you're just trying to do your thing. He's like, and I'm really just trying to work on myself, so I'm sorry, dude. I wish you guys the best of luck. And we're like walking down like the street, like Chinatown, and we're just like, wow, that's
like maybe the world isn't as bad as we think it is.
There's a lot of apologetic people too. Like I've had somebody literally comment a year and a half ago on like my first post, and he reached back out, and I don't even know how I saw it. And he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know, I was in a really, really bad place. I really appreciate you responding properly. I'm so sorry for sending that negative energy out to you. Like, damn, bro. Like, you don't know what the fuck just happened.
The world is healing.
The world is healing, man.
Put the positivity
or you could
out
respond
there.
and be like, well, hey, man, guess what? I'm in a bad place, and I
Yeah.
think you
Now
should
it's
walk into oncoming traffic.
Now, me and Joey have...
It's my turn.
I think me and Joey have mastered the perfect way to respond to people that don't like us, and it's we just offer them job as writers.
Yeah,
those people,
like, you want a job.
They have to be funnier than us, right? Because they're brilliant, so they can come on.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, we did say that to that kid,
and I will. And listen, you could quote me on this now for our entire audience. If you think you're funnier than us, we will hire you as writers. You can write up whatever you want, and we will pay you in bananas. Coffee and bananas.
Coffee and bananas. The interesting part about you guys, like, as a page that's starting up, you would expect to not get any hate. And like, so what is somebody coming at you guys?
You know what we realized right away, and that's the thing that's interesting. What we were talking about off the pod before is like we're really, especially Joe, he's hitting in the Instagram marketing like a motherfucker, and he has this brilliant marketing technique where he just like gets up in the comment sections of some of the most whatever like popular pages and just starts shit. So then people naturally discover us, and people like, and you probably see this too. It's the exact same narrative. People just don't like that you're doing anything.
Exactly.
They're like, why should you be a person that has any...
Dude, like, when Joe
Rogan... People just don't like we have a podcast.
Bro, when Joe Rogan was, like, taking ivermectin and all that, first of all, like, personally, our opinions were, like, that's, like, we don't have an opinion. Like, I didn't weigh either side of, like, that's wrong or that's right. Like, I just don't care. I think... So, I, like, made a joke of a comment, and, like, it was, like, Joe ivermectin Rogan. And, dude, the Joe Rogan audience was coming for our throats,
And it's
dude.
like, nice fucking podcast, losers. Like, where'd you get your lighting rig? How about this? You're a fucking loser.
Or
Your
they'll be
opinions don't.
look at these fucking losers who are just jealous that Joe's doing well and their podcast is failing, and we're like, well, we're only a week and a half.
We're a week and a half in. Like, I don't know if you can say we're failing. But that's what I'm saying. People just don't like that you're creating anything.
Then that's why we say
Exactly.
back to them, I'm like, hey, are you looking for a job? And then they're just like,
because we need writers. Like, yeah, actually, you mean it? Like, I think I am pretty funny.
Holy
Like,
shut
shut the fuck up, Tandy.
Like, I
Never
was just
mind.
kidding.
Yeah. Idiot.
Well, when you started with Stunited, in which, like, for people that don't know, that was your app that you still are currently develop. Oh no, not anymore. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. We could talk about it, but yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
I would love to talk about
Yeah,
All right,
we
so
can
yeah,
talk
we'll
about
get into that. But like to segue,
Yeah.
so like what you were doing on Stunited, I guess you could say, is like similar to what you're doing now. So did you see like a difference as far as transitioning from that to more of like influencer, like lifestyle, like
'Cause it's
how
interesting,
to
'cause there
type, like
you-
that yeah.
There you actually
that
had
bridge.
a product, and now it's pretty nice. And this is probably maybe why you're doing more successful. Is like now the product is you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
which
brand.
is nice. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point because you have so much more control over the product now
Yes.
because it's you, right? Like back in the day, and Stunited, for those that don't know, was my ed tech startup back in when I was in college. Started when I was I guess a junior in college, so like 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was essentially like an academic marketplace, so students can upload their assignments and offer and bid on what they want in exchange, type of thing. The funny part of, and I guess we can hop right into it with Stunited, is it was very linear with the growth of my TikTok, obviously, right? So like my audience for TikTok had a lot of college kids in it, so it was easy for me to promote Stunited because I would hop on a live session or I would make a very simple post and say, hey guys, this is what I do, download the app. And it was working really well, where there was a point where we were like top 160 out of 200 education apps on the App Store. There's like 500,000 apps on the App Store for education. So it was cool to see. The only problem was, I think when you don't have structure in a startup, things can go wrong very quickly, and that's sort of what happened. So we were raising money, didn't have a lot in the bank, didn't have the proper, like I said, operations and structure to, I guess, mitigate risk and things going wrong. And so basically, long story short, people started using this app in malicious ways, where they were offering their skills in exchange for whatever it may be, but they were scamming one another, right? So they were now offering $100, but in reality, they'd get their assignment back and say fuck off. And
Wow, I didn't
and so like I said, we had a lot of plans to put things in place to avoid those situations, which is very possible. Like think about Airbnb or eBay or Verbo. Like there are many people trying to do these things,
Right.
but the difference is they have
payment processing.
right. They
all
have
that.
payment processors. They have people. They have, at the end of the day, if something does go wrong, a budget to pay out. So now what I was doing was I was taking my Johnny Drinks money or my personal money and just had to pay people out because these were my early customers and I had to take care of them. So people were getting fucked left and right. People were complaining to me, but overall they were very receptive of my I guess support. Like people were not blaming me.
Yeah, like, they saw where you were coming
They were like,
from.
look,
They're
man,
like, yeah, you didn't do it.
It was my responsibility. Like it was my, as in the user, responsibility to handle the situation. But it came to a point where, number one, I wasn't happy with the direction where this thing was going because I was like, what am I trying to build here? Like, what am I really doing? One time, this was like the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess, was kid reached out to me and said, hey, man, I'm in a really bad situation right now. I asked this guy for help. I was going to pay him this much money to help me with my essay. Now this guy's threatening that if I don't pay him an extra $1,000, I'm gonna go to his school and essentially get him expelled for cheating, right? So now I'm like, holy shit. And he's like, oh, this guy isn't who he says he was. He's from like India. I'm like, oh my God. So now I have to put on like
Straight operations.
now I'm like
Jesus
fucking
Christ.
busy and I'm like, holy shit. So I attack this guy and say, hey, look, you're trying to exploit this individual and he's a user of my app. So now if you don't stop this, we're going to get legal involved. And granted, I was never going to get legal involved, but it scared the shit out of this guy to the point where he was so nervous. What ended up happening was this guy wasn't one person. It was a rig of like several people that were doing this. So when I reached out to him, he was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Not dude, because he was from a different country.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm part of this community of people. it wasn't me that reached out to this guy.
Scammers.
So it's scammers that were using one account. You know what I mean?
That's wild.
It
And
was insane.
It's weird because
That's how we funded the rest of Man Behind the Camera, the movie we just finished.
You
we,
scammed.
We
Yeah,
had like
that's-
8 scammers on United.
No, but that's crazy.
We raised
You know-
$250,000.
you know
Thank you.
scammers is like, it's our bread and butter right now. On Instagram, there's accounts coming at us, and you can clearly tell they're almost all the same account.
It's new
or multiple
content for
people.
us.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
great.
it's great for
Yeah.
us. Scammers, keep going. You're never
Yeah.
going to get us.
Yeah, we love
But
you
that's
guys.
interesting as someone who created an app. I never even thought about this, and I was in Untitled United from the get-go, that like someone could use your product to exploit someone. Like there's
It's like
a
no
network
matter what, people are just going to
gonna
find a way to
Yeah,
scam
It's
through
so
it.
fucked up. So what'd you end up doing?
So again, this was a point where things were not going well with Stu United. We were running out of money. Kids were. I mean, granted, at the time, usage was still really good. Like we reached our like all-time
When
high.
is this in the timeline? Is this in the last
This
year
is
or two?
this is like last couple months. Like I would say this summer, early summer.
Oh, wow.
So you like just recently kind
this
of
is
like,
recent,
cut
man.
the ties with it?
Because it was a lot of back and forth where I was like half in, half out, and I knew I couldn't do that anymore. So I had to have this sit down conversation with myself, pretty much, because that was the team, and I said, I want to make a decision, right? Johnny Drinks and this brand, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or in real life, has a lot of potential to grow and become something super special, and I don't want to hold myself back because I let my ego get the better of me and I'm holding on to something that really doesn't exist anymore. Right? Like this was a project.
You're probably
and
not even as passionate about either.
I wasn't,
anymore.
man. And what I really realized, and this is something very interesting, is I realized that I never really was passionate about Stu United as the project. I was passionate about myself and my reputation of building something and making it happen. I was in education technology, probably one of the most boring industries to be in. I had to pitch teachers and professionals that were in, these were like old individuals that really had no clue about technology at all. And I was in, conference room trying to pitch them this great idea that I had. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is not fun at all.
Yeah.
But I was in it, so I couldn't stop now. And it was almost like the satisfaction of just getting something done. But I ran into so many walls, and I was like, you know what? I got to put it to rest at this point in time. And it was hard, man. It definitely wasn't an easy choice for me to make. But once I did it, I'm not attached to anything at this point in my life. Like, I had something already going, so it was very easy for me to say, I'm done with this. Let me move on to that. Whereas like, if I didn't have Johnny Drinks, I probably would have had to just keep holding on to the point of who knows. Like I never would say that I ended too early or too late. I think you could probably grind through and make something happen regardless. But I'm definitely thankful that I have, what we have going on right now, and I was able to pack it
It's
up.
just crazy to say that like under the age of 25 or 26, you already created your first app. You know what I'm saying? So like you have that in your back pocket. It is what it is. Things happen, but like you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On to the next. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Folks, celebrating our newest sponsor, Manscaped, we had our guest Johnny Drinks here today, and he too is a part of the family. And what better way to treat your family members? We're now sponsored by Johnny Drinks.
Johnny Drinks sponsored this episode as well, guys, and we're so excited that what he wanted to do for our ad today is he wanted to make one of his own Johnny Drinks special cocktails just for the good crack boys.
Yeah.
So go ahead and here's a cocktail made by Johnny Drinks.
Enjoy.
What's up, everybody? I am thankfully the guest here at Good Crack Podcast, and I want to make them a special drink of mine to see if they like it. So I brought my own whiskey today. This is a 30-year Scotch whiskey, really, really expensive and high-quality stuff.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Now, for the people that don't drink whiskey, this may be a little too much for you, so I want to give them a little bit. Hold on one second. And
What's like the proper way of doing it?
right, well, the proper way or the improper way to do it is to just rip it as a shot. Like, that's the one thing you don't want to
this is
do.
like
Don't rip it as a
Right,
shot.
definitely don't rip it as a shot. Now, I'm going to, here, just give this a sip, guys. Like I said, don't rip it as a shot.
Yeah, that's good. So that was the cocktail? That was the
Oh,
drink?
that tastes old.
So that's how you make the cocktail is you just put it in there.
I
No.
imagine that's probably like
No, I
the
didn't even-
old
no, I didn't-
sweat you would
no, I
get
didn't
from
even
not
s-
shaving your
Yeah.
balls.
I didn't even start the cocktail yet.
Oh, you have to actually make something.
That would be,
Oh, okay.
that's a cocktail.
What is, that, so you're going to mix all that
Add the
shit.
bitter.
Okay.
now-
okay.
No,
now-
no, I see. Cool.
All right,
Yeah,
all
let's
right,
try
Let's
it.
start over.
No, that was good. Let's
Start
do it.
I
over.
don't want to do this.
No,
We'll
just
edit
keep
We'll
going.
edit it out.
Just
No,
make
we'll
it
not. I
now.
don't want to even.
Just start from the top.
No,
Just
Why
like,
would you? I
guys, it's
literally
Johnny.
just said not to do this.
No, I didn't know that. I
Just
thought
start
that
from
was
the top
the
and
cocktail.
spit, guys.
Didn't-
Johnny. Yeah,
I thought
I thought he was saying
I thought
like
you said
what what to do is you rip it as a shot.
How did you even do that?
It really
fine.
hurt.
Yeah,
It did not.
good.
It was not pleasant.
You're right. It's good stuff.
But when somebody says not to do something, why would you go and do it?
No, I just.
Nah,
mean,
I thought you said.
I thought
you were
that
saying,
was
like, you
the
should do
cocktail.
that.
I thought you
Yeah.
said this is what.
What kind of cocktail is just a shot?
Listen,
I
man. I
don't
don't know.
know.
You're the drink guy. You tell
Yeah,
me. Just
you're
go make it.
Johnny.
You can make it.
You're
Go
the
again.
drinks
Go
guy.
again.
I'm like so unmotivated to
Just
make this.
you
right
could-
now.
No, let's try it.
you
Let's
Do
could-
try
we
it.
even
could
have to do
just-
this podcast
You can
today?
make.
No,
Why,
no,
you
you're
guys wanna
good.
get
No,
another
just
go?
keep
Well, we
going.
gotta-
Just
we
make
do
it,
this
make
and
it.
then
Go.
we'll do the
another one.
podcast.
Let's see you make it. Put another shot
Why
in.
don't
It
see you
looks
make it
old.
since you guys know?
Well,
No,
you said
just
you
make
you
it.
No,
walked
but
me
you-
through it.
I
Okay.
All right,
well,
John.
so you
We're
put
gonna
it-
edit all this out, and we'll
you
start
put a
from
shot
the
of the
top. So
good
just, like,
stuff
start
in,
from,
right?
Oh no, he's got.
No, you're doing.
And then you said
All right,
no.
all right, all right.
You
Is
said,
that all
We'll
of it?
cut
No,
out
but
the
then how
part
do you
where we
make it?
drink.
Because you said that we.
You said not to just down it as a
Right,
shot.
and you're. Can I leave?
Oh
Do you,
God!
can-
No,
You
please.
guys want to do this?
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
I'm sorry. I'm
you-
sorry.
you
Please,
could-
no,
you
John.
could-
I'm
You
sorry.
could keep this.
John,
because
we're
you
gonna
guys-
edit it out.
Make us the
You guys
proper
like to
drink.
fuck things up.
No,
so
make us
keep
the
that.
proper drink.
No,
Seriously.
All right.
you can find somebody else to do.
Well, listen. I mean,
I'm here. Excuse me.
if you're, I
guys have
thought
fun. You guys-
no, like you said, you're
No,
gonna
but you
mix
said
it.
if you just
You just
smoke
I
the
thought
glass.
you-
Smoke the fucking. You didn't even smoke the glass.
Oh God.
Guys, we're gonna have John Rondi from Johnny
Guys,
Drinks
thanks
on
to
today.
Johnny Drinks for making us his signature cocktail today. It was delicious.
Oh,
All right, folks.
That was great.
Pretty
yeah.
good, yeah. So you could support Johnny Drinks by going to johnnydrinks.com, and John has an ebook of different cocktails that you can get, and you're going to need a code for some special access, folks. It's a free ebook with our code, GoodCrack, at
Good
checkout.
crack. I'm saying.
It is.
Which
yeah.
is, I will always say about you, you've always been very motivated and like, let's keep working and let's keep moving on and moving forward.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
that.
a lot of
and,
people
and
can't
wasn't
say.
it fun? Like, tech people are fun, and like wasn't it fun hanging out with like tech people and educators? Like to go and sit with the guy for 2 hours, the tech guys, like they're fun.
Are
And
you
they're,
being
they're warm.
Are you being coy?
No,
No, yeah, like they're really
he's being
warm
coy,
and fun.
and you know what I noticed is like I never knew that there was anything but that. So he's obviously lying. It wasn't fun at all. And the first
I was like, are you serious?
what I've realized is like
Comedy.
so now it's comedy. We're
Guys,
having-
I forgot to tell you, we're comedians.
So no, but that I thought that's how everybody was in like the startup space, and I was putting on this facade when I was at these fucking networking
You were
events.
probably the most enthusiastic person
I-
to be at any of those,
Yeah.
like by like a landslide.
People are like, "What are you doing here?" type of thing. Like, you don't belong with it. And I found blips of people that were sort of like me. But when I got into this like consumer-based products, liquor space that I'm in now, and I've gone to like networking events, and not even networking events, they're just
Those
like
are
parties.
probably way more
And,
fun.
dude, and I got to my first one, and I'm like, this is where I fucking belong, man.
Yeah,
Like, people are
yeah.
just so much more lively and, like you said, passionate and excited about growing something. But
they're
to-
probably fun and excited.
Well,
The tech
dude,
guys,
I
they
know
just
it is.
can't. They just can't express it
If I was
properly.
in your boots, dude, I would have been like expecting to go to these events, and I got my app, and like I meet some fucking guy who's got sunglasses on, and is drinking martini. Like that's Frank Magoots. He like
He's
bankrupted
employee
the.
78
yeah.
from Facebook.
Well,
he
so that yeah.
bankrupted the fucking Fort Knox when he was 13 on a hack thing, and you were waiting for him to be like, drop the stew,
Yeah.
just night it. But oh yeah,
Bro,
you meet fucking
bro.
a bunch of schmucks that are like,
Yo,
I have an
literally.
app that allows you to read textbooks on your phone. It's
That's
like, shut up, nerd.
That's exactly how it is.
Fucking pussy.
I will say we're in the wrong area for it. So you will get those people like on the West Coast, and I've been to those events.
Yeah, well, everyone on
And
the
that's
West Coast is a
that's
fucking
pretty dope.
fraud.
Is like when you see somebody and like somebody else is like, hey, do you know who that is? I'm like, no, and they're like, oh, that's so and so from this company. Like you said,
From
he's our
Napster.
yeah exactly. But it's literally like that movie where it's like that dude's already worth this much money and now he's already investing into other companies. So that is a cool
yeah, that's
place to be.
pretty
It
pretty
is.
wild. That's pretty.
But-
Drop the knighted.
That-
Just stew.
dude, that is that in itself was like I was waiting for those things to happen. But yeah, I know where I belong, and it definitely wasn't. And I also realized I'm pretty self-aware, and like when you don't belong in a place. I was not smart enough to be in like a real
I could
tech
just- I could
savvy
just
networking.
imagine.
No, like you
I was
said,
like,
dude, like you were in it.
Lingo
Like, you had
alone.
no choice, really. You know what I
lingo alone, I had no choice, and I was trying to keep up with the conversations, and they would be talking technically, and I'd be like, "Fuck, dude, I'm an idiot. Like, what am I? I don't belong here," and
So,
you
like,
feel
yeah, like-
uncomfortable.
So like your algorithm, like what's its backdoor usage like? And you're just like,
I'm like, "What?"
I'm like, well, we haven't built anything yet. So there's no, well, yeah, backdoor, for
Yeah,
backdoor
yeah.
hacking.
I'm like, "Oh, you have to talk to my developer about that one." But like, and now I'm in such a different space where I could just be myself and talk about it and have an exciting conversation every single
Yeah,
time.
and even if you're not the smartest guy in the room, you're not going up
No,
against
it's just
Albert
different.
Einstein.
It's
you
just
know?
different. It's
Yeah,
a
you
different
don't need to be the
conversation.
fucking smartest guy in the room anymore.
You're
We
going
have,
up against like
Portnoy making
Yeah.
$1 billion selling pizza. You know what
or
I mean?
like
Exactly,
the
bro.
character Matthew McConaughey is like in Beach Bum. He's just like, well, hey man, I just got this company,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
We just make good booze,
Well,
man.
so
Yeah,
listen,
exactly.
I didn't know that. We got some information on this podcast. We didn't know that, but Stu United
sorry.
is so it's done. It's officially over.
So did you like did you sell it? Did you like?
So
You
it's
can't talk about it.
no. Listen,
fine,
I mean, at this point, it's like operations are frozen right now. So it's not discontinued. I would say like who knows.
Mhm.
The only way for me to pick it back up would be if like a really young and hungry entrepreneur came to me and said, "Hey, John, I want to do something. I don't want to start from ground zero. I want to take this and run with it." And what I would say is transparently, number one, you're going to need a lot of money. Like if you want to get this going off the ground, you either have to go raise money or have it. You never know. Like people have family that say, "Hey, I want to put money towards you starting your own business. This is your own business." Or I don't want to go to college. I want to put it towards something like this. Like you have those options. And those are the things that I have to have the conversation with my family with. So if somebody's like that out there, I'd be more than happy to sort of walk them in the right direction. But like you said, I don't have that passion to be that CEO anymore for that project. And I know that's what you need, like 110%.
Yeah.
Well, that leads me to my next question. John, me and Joey are really young and hungry. We really want
we
to
have lots of money.
and we
Are you
want
guys
an
busy?
app that we don't want to start from ground zero. And what we want to use it for is like a community place where you could, people could talk and sell crack to each other.
Yeah. And
Dude.
exchange services.
we take over Crack Nighted.
I was going to say, what's the name? Crack Night?
Strack.
Correct.
Stu Crack.
Just, okay, we'll
crack.
work on a name, but yeah, we'll talk after
So
the podcast.
listen, that's interesting to hear. Like, it's funny because it seems like it was such a long time, but it's 2018. Like, it's a 3-year timeline where these things happen, and it took the path it took. And you like the same thing with Johnny Drinks. You didn't know that was gonna happen that night you posted, and it led you
Yeah.
down an entirely different path.
Yeah.
So I guess it really leads us to the next question: is what is the next step for Johnny Drinks and your
Yeah.
brand? Because you could explain us to like the whole brand and what you're working on right now. Like, is Smoke the Glass its own thing? Is
Yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Drinks its own thing? Have you rebranded? Are you working towards maybe something like starting your own whiskey brand, getting into the?
I saw
sphere?
that on TikTok live the other night.
Uh-oh,
I
wait a
saw-
minute.
I like just happened to tune in, and it was literally like 5 seconds after I tuned in, you like read, and it's like own whiskey something, and you're
Yeah.
like, we're working on it. And I'm like, oh,
So
like,
yeah, I mean that's a really good
flags
point. And
going up.
Let us
Yeah.
know what the future is, bro.
what's it
so
looking
I'm
like?
actually I'm not a big like people like to like write their 5-year plans down and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
look,
Yeah.
you do whatever works for you. It's very hard for me to say, hey, I'm gonna be in this place 5 years from now. I'm way more like this moment, and then like, okay, what does next month bring? And I completely and I may be very wrong in this thought process. Look, I'm not perfect either, but again, it's just hard for me to do. Will we have like you have your overall goals, and obviously it's like very basic. Okay, we have 1.5 million followers now. We want to have 10 million followers by whatever date.
Mhm.
But there are expansions of the brand itself, and I think a couple of them have to include being real in real life. You know what I mean? Like having a presence off of TikTok, whether it's meet and greets or whether it's having social events or having your own TV show. Like there's so many different things you can do. And I think that's where we're headed as personalities, is because, my dad and I aren't professionals in any sense of the word, but I think what we are is we have this entertaining way of just having conversation.
Mhm.
So the way I see it is like if it was a talk show or it was a how-to show, almost like, I love what Action Bronson does with like,
Mhm.
fuck that's
Fuck,
delicious.
yeah.
I think expanding upon that and really doing interviews with like super special people is great. Like you mentioned, Joe Rogan isn't a professional or isn't an expert in anything. He just asks really good questions. So
Right.
he pulls out the best in everybody else, and I think that's what I could become. As far as like tangible things, number one, we are working on starting our own bourbon line. We did a soft
Good crack exclusive,
good
folks.
crack exclusive, man. So we did a partnership drop with another company called Burning Shares. So if you guys
I
have
remember
seen,
that. I've seen those in.
Dude, so
the liquor
yeah,
store,
well, that's actually really funny you said that. So Burning Chair is an existing bourbon, right? We talked to them and we had a really good conversation and said, look, we want to do our own line. We don't know where to go. And so the guys pretty much said, why don't we do an exclusive drop with us? You can have the same bourbon bottle and just have a different blend for you. We'll slap a little label on the side and you could try to sell it. And in the beginning, we didn't know what to expect, and we sold like 100 bottles in like a day. It was fucking nuts. And these bottles were expensive bourbon, so it wasn't an easy task to do. The problem was we were at the same time, we're making a couple bucks per bottle. We're selling somebody else's brand. So
Yeah.
like you just
Yeah.
said, you walk in the liquor store, you bought what you thought was Johnny Drinks bourbon, but you really just bought the regular burning chair. I had no association with that. So I put in so much time and effort to grow Savage and Cook, which is fine. They were great people, but it wasn't my brand. So long story short, we sold out of 1,200 of those bottles in a relatively short period of time. Next time we do this thing, we're talking to a different distillery. It would be the Johnny Drinks brand. It probably wouldn't be called Johnny Drinks because I think that's a little bit tacky, but it would be our brand that we owned and really took this thing big time. The other thing that I'm working on is an espresso martini in a can. So I'm a big espresso martini guy.
You've been trying a lot of them too.
That's the reason. I'm doing some R&D. But that's going to be a passion project. That's something that I'm super, super excited about because I think the RTD ready to go, ready to drink space is so gigantic and it's growing. It is saturated, but nobody's really mastered the espresso martini in the ways that I would. And I think the vibe that they give off isn't the way they should be going about it. I think there's so many different things we can be doing. So I'm excited about that. So you see these two different things. The one would be a little more spearheaded by my dad in the bourbon, and then this one would be a little more spearheaded by myself. But
cool.
There's plenty of things we can do.
When it comes to that, like if you want to speak about this, if you don't want, but like, do you feel, since it kind of like you are the man behind the camera and you started this whole process, do you feel like you're the guy that's kind of running the whole show? Or is it like a kind of a shared partnership between your dad and when it comes to like the growth and the business decisions and the content market? Like, is your dad, would you say he's more on-air talent, or is he like making all these decisions with you? Obviously, you're more familiar with the sphere in general. Your dad, just has worked in a totally different industry for the last, 30, 40 years or whatever. So like, is this kind of the thing that you're spearheading everything, or is it a lot of shared decisions between your dad?
I mean, so that's the really interesting part, right? Because at the end of the day, we are father and son, and the dynamic of father and son is different than anything else in life. At the same time, it's just that, right? So like the operations and business side of this thing is pretty much all me, and I'm not saying that I run this thing by myself at all, because obviously without him, we'd have nothing. But there are times where like I have to sort of say, I have to take reins with pretty much everything because he does have a full-time job. So I may only get him for 20 minutes a day, and I say, hey, look, I have to have everything organized. This is who we're working with this month. This is what we need from you, and that's it. So that being said, this bourbon line, for example, this is a full-time job. And my dad, if we want to pursue this, I'm going to have to tell him, like, look, it's either or. You can't be half in, half out. This would be 100% commitment. And I think that day will come. But for right now, it is spearheaded by me, behind the scenes type of thing, and only because like that's how it works. If we would butt heads way too much if we're both trying to do the business side of things, and like I said, he has a lot going on, so it's hard for him to deal with sometimes because it's his son telling him what to do, and he's very A-type alpha energy. So but it's an interesting dynamic then, and I'm really curious to see when he steps out of his comfort zone and says, okay, I'm going to take this thing full time, how we work as equal partners as opposed to, like I said, a father and son.
Yeah, you'll have the time with them too. Because I saw it when I was helping you do like podcasts and all that. I saw like how limited the time was.
Limited, and yes, so you
like
got him.
You get like that 20 minutes or something, and you're like, well, we got to
rip
a TikTok or
he
two.
He would say to us and say, look, I got an hour. Like,
yeah,
let's get it done. And if it's not done an hour, it is what it is. And I'm excited to, because I think it's, again, the dynamic of father and son, if it's going to be a business, shouldn't be the dynamic of father and son.
Yeah.
I can't treat him like my dad. He can't treat me like his son when it's talking about business. And I'm very interested to see how we work together, because as much as I hate to admit it, we are pretty much the exact same human, just in different bodies.
Yeah.
And sometimes I hate the things that he says. I'm like, motherfucker, like that's exactly how I would approach the situation. So yeah, I'm interested to see, how that dynamic sort of shifts.
And would your dad fuck my wife?
No.
Well,
no.
Well, that's why I was gonna.
You were gonna ask that too, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
A little different. Well, because you said that like the time might come
no,
where he has to like go full time.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask just like through your connections now, like, and I guess other people you're meeting in the space, like with your connections and influencer culture, like, do you know where Brian Laundrie is? Or you like, you don't?
Have you gotten into the Brian Laundrie sphere?
You know what's funny about you guys? I never know where the question is going. And like that one actually got me. Yours came out of left field, so I was like, oh, fuck. That one I thought was actually going down a genuine question. I was like, damn, I'm ready. The answer is no. I don't, and I wish
Have
wish
you
I'd
heard
more.
through any of your contacts or commenters like, oh, by the way, Brian Laundrie's here?
No, and if I did know that, I'm not I would tell somebody. I
Would you? Because you want to
So
do.
you want to go on the record saying that if you knew where Brian Laundrie
would
was,
tell us.
You guys would know
inform
too.
the FBI.
If I knew, you guys would know.
That's all. You cleared your slate. That's all that matters.
for
well,
sure.
You said like talking about other mediums to take the shit, and like you mentioned TV show, and I was like, that's cool. Like, would you consider like becoming the third D'Amelio twin, like doing a
There's another
crossover
one,
with
bro.
the D'Amelios?
I was like,
D'Amelio
I was
show.
like, all right, show. Maybe it's serious. And then the last, would you consider? I'm like, fuck.
Well, because
No,
the
it's just
fact that they have a show is like like that just doesn't make sense
Blows
to
my
me.
mind.
Like I would
watch their
I
show,
would give
yeah.
you millions of dollars to make a show. 15 times out of 10 before I gave it to them. It's just
Well, you know what's
blows
funny
my
about them? Like, look, I think
I think their success is dope. I'll preface it by that.
100%,
like really
bro.
cool.
but the lifespan of an influencer normally is like 1 to 2 years, which is actually really short.
They die.
But I mean, maybe they could, but their personality.
well, it's quicker if they get into van
if you're
life.
an
It's a lot
influencer,
quicker.
they
Right, they're
die.
just
Yeah,
dead
if
on
you-
site.
Yeah, if you're a van life influencer, it's like 6 to 8
you're
months.
fucked. you're so fucked. But I think it's
Brian Laundrie, we're coming for you.
people like that. Like they could be super hot right now, and look, they could be set for life.
For
pretty
life,
much.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they can make not even just the money. They can make a lot of money, even if they're dead. So, influencers,
media-wise.
whatever the fuck it is, they could still do shit.
Oh, 1,000%.
So I think that is my goal: is to make sure that we withstand time and make ourselves a presence in person. Because then you fucking sort of lock yourself in.
Dude, I was a fucking intern at this failure of a like Hollywood news show called Celebrity Page. Like I'm pretty sure they're down under, and if they're not,
Jeez,
like
you just
I could,
named them.
yeah, I could care less.
Yeah,
They like were
freedom
such
of
they were
speech,
such a
bitches. Fuck you
failure,
guys.
and like they were the types of people where I saw that firsthand because they would come in and like fucking shout out Arthur Cade. He was their commentator or whatever, and now he's over at Bro Bible and he's crushing it. He was the
Really?
only one with talent there, but the rest of it would be like, yeah, we got a big like high profile celebrity coming in today to do a product thing, and I'm like, wow. And it would just be like some girl who was like a big fitness
So dumb,
influencer like 5 years ago, and she still has like bunch of followers, all this, and now her like she
Yeah.
sustains herself by just doing these random
It
appearances.
is wild because the followers probably don't really go anywhere, but like no one gives a fuck anymore.
Well, that's what it
That's
was.
it,
I like see
exactly.
her account now, and she gets like 10,000 views. Like when she
Yeah.
came in, she was getting like hundreds of thousands, and I'm like, oh, she's
It's
like
just
fully
if
done.
kind
you,
of
if you
going on-
stay, you got to adapt. Like you look at the Paul brothers, you could bash them all you want, but those dudes are geniuses.
sure,
and they're
for sure.
they're hustlers. Like they have done everything to stay relevant, and that's all they do. They are relevant every day, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon.
He should join Dog the Bounty Hunter,
Yeah.
like Jake Paul or Logan, to
And they
like
should
find
get
Brian
Brian
Laundrie.
That would
I have-
be. I mean, would you watch that?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. I want you there feeding them alcohol. I have a question.
Where we going?
Kind
Dogs
of like a
wasting
two-parter
time.
going off of what we were just talking about. You're to us, you're John Rondi, our friend that we've known for a long
Sure.
time. You have this great account, but like to others, you and your dad are like somewhat of celebrity status in the influencer field.
Yeah.
And on top of that, kind of going off what he was joking about with the D'Amelios, being that large in the TikTok sphere and just in the social influencer sphere in general, do you deal with people? Like, have you has fucking,
Dude.
the
I never
Pauls?
know what he's gonna say.
I don't know, but like has like Paul's or the D'Amelios or any other drink accounts like slid into your DMs? Like, let's collab. What's going on? Do you want to come to this party? Like shit like that. Like, how is that? How is the celebrity of you and your father to that point? Like, have you guys been recognized a lot and shit? And then on top of that, have you dealt with other people in this sphere that are kind of
Like, are you gonna get in with the Nelk boys?
Yeah.
So, actually, Nelk sent me their
Happy Dad, right?
Yeah, they sent me Happy Dad a while ago. I
What's
would love
that?
to. It's
That's
like the new
Steve will
seltzer.
do it. It's his
Yeah.
seltzer.
Oh,
So
really?
shout out
Cool,
Nelk
cool.
to send that to me. They sent it to me like a while ago. I would love to work with them. So two answers to that, I guess. First one is out in public. So we were in Nashville a couple weeks ago for a wedding, and I guess Nashville is very whiskey heavy, and they love, I guess, our content. I swear to God, we were walking out, and it was like every bar we went to, somebody was either staring at us, and I would have to be like, yeah, it's him. And then they would come over and be like, yo, like Johnny. I think the thing is like, we are super relatable. Like we're dudes that you can come up to and just say what's up to.
Yeah.
Whereas
Everyday
like,
people.
right. And I think it's the two of us together. Like when I'm alone, I rarely get it. When he's alone, he rarely gets it. Him, obviously a little more than I do. But when we're together, it's like, okay, it's obviously them. And so people are just coming up to us saying what's up. It's so funny because these people, like you said, they see us like we're celebrities. And I'm like, that's insane to me that you're like bringing up some of my past videos and getting pictures with me. Really, really cool to see. But from like a collaboration standpoint, this is where my dad, I've had to like teach my dad that this is how you grow. He always saw it as like a competition. Like, hey, this is us. How do we beat everybody? And I had to explain, like, this isn't a zero-sum game. The way we want to grow is by connecting with people that are in our space that are doing things maybe a little bit differently,
For sure.
but really, really good. So I have a couple good friends that are in the space, like cocktails and things like that. I've had to reach out to people. They've had to reach out to me. This is a tough area, like location-wise. Like North Jersey, there's not too many influencers.
Yeah, you can get New York.
Yeah, New York, LA, like that's the place you got to go to like start collabing. But yeah, like I love doing that shit. I think it's like super helpful because
Who are some of the people that have reached out to you that you've dealt with?
Ones that where you've been like, oh wow, like that's cool. Like,
yeah,
where,
I mean, I guess like, well, my good friend now, Bar Chemistry, he's got like 1.5 million. When he reached out to me, I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. I'm trying to think of like people that you guys may know because a lot of them are just in this space, but they have like millions.
Yeah,
of
not
followers
even like
and-
in terms of collab or like I'm sure just like this fucking hot girl that like makes dances has 1 million followers. You have 1 million followers. Did you ever comment and be like, your dad's so cute? Like what, like shit like that? Like,
Oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying? Do you deal like have you been in communication with people that are just like huge in this sphere and it's just like because you guys are kind of at the
like
same
if
level.
Joey Dardano commented something, you're like, well, like that's Joey Dardano.
Yeah,
He's not like
it's
some
cool.
A-lister, but he's just like a big guy in
Oh
the
yeah,
space.
I mean that happens all the time. I mean,
There's like A-list actors on TikTok. Is anyone ever
Yeah.
like I love your drink videos?
God, yeah, there was. Yes, the answer is yes. A lot of people. What's the kid's name? Two-Turn Tony. He's got like a bunch of. He'll
Oh,
comment.
yeah, I
Yeah,
know
he'll
him,
he'll comment on my stuff and be like, "Yo, I love the vibes. Like, I love what you guys are doing." So that's cool. I had what's that girl? Sophia Jamora. She's like a model. I forget what she does, but yeah, she commented on some of our posts. But yeah, it's like it's little things here and there. Like, and it in reverse. I don't notice the impact that I have because I'm a user, right? I love TikTok. I'll
Yeah.
comment on all videos that I see.
yeah, you're always.
And I'm
sending me a-
commenting, and like people be like, dude, no way you just commented. I love your drinks, and I'm like, damn, like I just did the reverse to them.
Yeah,
type of shit,
and you
know what
help
I mean?
them out. They're like, everyone's
Yeah.
like, dude, Johnny Drinks
Just
commented
commented on your
like,
shit.
that
I'm
he,
like, yeah,
likes
it was
your
a funny
parents on
fucking
that.
video. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's. I mean, that's the benefit as we start to like move forward in terms of like starting businesses and stuff. Me reaching out to another influencer is a lot easier than somebody else. So when I need help in terms of like promoting a product, getting them on board with the team, it's coming from a different place. Where like, hey, I have this many followers, you have this many followers. I'm not bullshitting you. I really want to do something special. They're way more receptive to that sort of thing.
Yeah, and obviously we were joking before about like your dad fucking my wife, but like just in case if he wants to, that's fine.
Okay.
But
I'll let 'em
just going off of the celebrity thing, people come up to you. I'm sure they're really cool. Usually, just want to take pictures and whatnot. But like in reality, like we have seen the comments. Like you posted some shit on Instagram where some girls like, "Tell your dad I love him," and then I'm single. Like, what is the weirdest shit like that happen? Do you have a lot of people come up to you that have said weird shit? A lot of comments that are weird, like people. DM
Like I
you?
know you've gotten some dirty DMs, and we want to hear all about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
get
I've
the
definitely got some
dirty
weird.
deeds.
I've
That
definitely
could
got
be
some
like
weird
that
DMs.
could be like a video in itself.
Just the DMs.
Like kind of like the way Barstool has people like read the cards. You could do like read your dirtiest DMs.
That's actually not a bad idea at all. And I would say the dirtiest of DMs.
We'll spearhead it. If
the-
that's good.
yeah, no, for sure. The dirtiest of DMs are by far from gay dudes.
Really?
Yeah, man, they're ruthless. Like they don't care. They shoot their shot the way straight dudes want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
They just give no fucks. So like they'll comment or they'll reply to my story, and now it's not just most of the time like when it's older women they're talking about my dad, but these dudes will come at both of us.
Yeah.
And they'll call every name in the book, calling him daddy, calling me daddy, and it's like
Call him daddy.
right. They're
Good
like,
for
yeah,
them.
it's good for them
They
because
got
they don't.
that confidence, man.
They do, man. And you can't, nobody's gonna say anything back to it. Like, I don't take any offense to any of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
if you're,
how could you?
yeah, like, look, if you're gonna be respectful, that's
I saw the
fine.
one where like the older woman was like, "Yeah, I'll tell my mom you said this." 'Cause
Oh,
it's like,
I
it's
love
awkward
that
for
shit,
you
man,
because
yeah.
it is your dad and your
Yeah.
mom and dad are still together.
Every time it's like, hey, is your dad single? I'm like, I don't know. Let me ask my mom. And to say, yeah, they are happily married. My mom just doesn't like being on camera. That's why you don't see her.
Yeah.
If she did, she'd be on camera. Like, I think that's a really cool dynamic. Like we said, when you're puppet master, what would you want to do next is what
Right.
people want to see. people do want to see shit like that. People want to see the father and mother loving each other.
Well,
and
because
the
then
sister.
they'll comment. They'll be like, "Oh my God, like my dad used to beat my mom all the time, and we had a
Yeah.
horrible. Like
Oh
I
my
love
God.
seeing your
They're-
parents
Both
love
of my
each other."
parents were killed by a gaggle of Dalmatians that pushed them off a cliff, and now I have a ruthless vengeance against all Dalmatians.
And then
So
one of
thank you.
them, is like, "I would love to bang your father," and you're like, "How did that one get in
Yeah,
there?"
how did they just slip one in there? You didn't see my mom in the video?
That's
Well, all right,
wild,
well-
man.
Let me ask you this:
Sure.
Ronda Rousey, Lizzo, and Player One from Squid Games. Fuck, kill, marry.
Player one is the old man.
Yeah.
Genjbu.
Come on, man. I gotta kill one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I can't marry or fuck the dude, but I would hate to kill him.
Why not?
I guess I can platonically marry him, right?
Well, dude, listen.
You could also romantically
like
marry.
he's the easy kill because
He is an easy
he's
kill.
also a guy that runs an organization that kills. Oh, that's a spoiler. Don't
say it.
Yo, what
I
are
didn't
you doing,
finish
bro?
yet.
What are you doing, bro? You
Never
gotta put the sound
mind.
on.
Mute his mic.
Yo, you mute this man.
Johnny Jenkins.
Oh my god, bro. Are you kidding
All
me?
Go watch this
All right.
episode if you haven't
No,
finished Squid
Don't
Game.
let that pull you away.
Okay, all right. So we're killing the old man. I'm so sorry.
Ah.
He was one
for
of my favorite.
unknown reasons. He's
I
a
thought-
sweet
I
old
thought-
man.
You do you should play him in marbles too, just to put him out. Just
Fuck.
like, dude, I'm about to
Did
put
you finish?
Yo,
right?
stop,
You
stop.
watch.
Did
You
you
watch.
finish?
Yeah, I finished the whole thing,
Did
but
you
these people
finish?
haven't.
No, I didn't finish. Spoiled.
Fuck, dude. I'm so sorry. I just assumed.
Wait, you
everyone-
didn't finish?
No,
But
I
you
got
don't really
2
know what he
episodes
means.
left.
You're gonna know what he means when
It's
you see
all
it.
right. I
Alright.
mean, that's not a big deal.
Anyway,
It's no
if you
big
said
deal.
the girl from who's the Asian girl?
Lizzo and Ronda Rousey.
I have
Oh,
to kill her. No, I already killed the guy, so I have what? Fuck or marry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man. I would have to go with. I mean, marrying Ronda Rousey would be tough, man, because like we get in an argument, like she's beating my ass.
Same with Lizzo though.
Nah, I'd fuck
And then
Lizzo
she'll be
up.
like, "That girl is a real nip
and then
squeeze."
she's shake her ass and shit.
That's
I-
not even her.
No, sure. She has like a song that kind of sounds like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's like a different melody.
Jeez.
Man, I mean, Lizzo. I'm sorry, I'm not that attracted to her, so would probably, fuck her once and then we'd be done.
Yeah, just dump
And
her.
I could really see her being like super aggressive and angry a lot, like mean
Yeah.
towards me, and I don't want a mean girl. I can see Ronda Rousey being actually a little more level-headed, like off of.
because of the fighting discipline.
Right, she gets
Yeah.
out like once she gets out her anger, she's kind of cool. So I would marry.
Lizzo doesn't
Ronda-
have the outlet
No.
other than like Instagram.
I actually
Which
don't
isn't
know how
helping.
this question even. Was this
But
in the notes?
Lizzo and
Yeah,
I
this
would
is in the notes.
Lizzo and I would make some really good TikToks together.
Yeah.
We
All right.
would
So
do
maybe
some-
maybe you
Lizzo.
should marry her.
Yeah,
That would be
Lizzo
good.
would
That's
be
the
great.
dynamic duo
Yeah,
right there. We're
yeah.
dancing and eating the.
Love Lizzo, love
yeah.
Ronda Rousey. I will say this about Ronda Rousey. Kind of blew it as a fighter. She lost every fight, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I don't know.
dude,
She had a great career. What could I say? I'm not
well,
a
yeah,
fighter.
because
I'm a bitch.
she got yips. She got the yips.
Oh, like in Ted Lasso,
Yeah, like yips.
where you just blow it.
It's like that one gymnast couldn't participate. 'Cause
She
she had
did.
the yips,
Yeah,
like where
she
you
did.
do flips and you don't know where you are.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, no, she didn't
she
actually
lost one
have
too
that.
many.
What
I
is
was,
it?
I was, that was an
One too many
attempt at
fights, I
humor.
think. No, I think, but you're right. Like she had it and then had the stardom, and like I think it that's got to be hard to deal with, man. Because now not only are you a fighter, you're a celebrity, so you got to deal with a bunch of bullshit.
Have you ever had anyone come at you and just be like, I think your videos, they're very offensive, and I think the way you drink alcohol is
Oh,
very
yeah.
You
problematic.
probably have like
Yeah.
a whole Christian group against you.
Not the
probably.
Yeah, dude.
Christians, but like people that are like, what's weird? The sober people, like people that have gone through alcohol abuse and they can't drink anymore, they love our content.
Really?
They're like, this is my vice. I can't drink. I've been sober for 10
Well,
years.
dude, yeah.
I love your content.
That's
my old
interesting.
professor,
Very
my
interesting.
old professor's been sober for like 10 years, but he was an alcoholic for like 25, and like even him still now, they like that's their thing. Like they love reminiscing about like
Yeah.
the times they were fucked up, and like that's how they'll like deal with it.
It's funny, man.
And it's entertaining too, because like sometimes they just tell like these crazy ass stories. Like my professor used to say the craziest
Oh,
shit.
I
and
can't
just be
imagine.
Like, wow, you
Yeah.
must have lived.
That is
a
kind of
wild
interesting.
life.
Yeah, I see here in our notes. I hadn't read the notes before this, but here's a
That's
good
fine.
one. If you I don't know why it's an accident, but if you accidentally had a son,
I wrote this. Yeah.
if you accidentally had a son, would he become part of the brand? Johnny Drinks? Would he be the third guy? Like
Johnny Poops.
a grandson?
Johnny
Like you
his-
just
You
filmed
just,
him
like,
shitting
in his
his
pants.
You just do like, all right, we're gonna do tit milk versus like the fake stuff, and he's just like,
So this isn't like it was an accidental kid, right?
I
I mean,
why
I-
is that part of the? I guess
Well, I think
it's
that's
part of
I
it.
Because
think that
I think-
matters. I
Well,
think
because
that
just
I
matters.
think
if it
if-
happened now,
if it's accidental, like it's more of like a surprise. Like if
Right.
John was planning to have a kid, he might have maybe like toyed with the idea of like, wow, like if I'm still like a
so like
profile
in this,
of
that situation, he's having a kid just for influencing.
Right.
Nah,
Exactly. Well,
I
so
guess,
you're
yeah.
saying like a girl like came to me today and said, hey, by the way, I've been pregnant for 9 months. I
right,
just had
and
your
you're
kid.
just yeah.
So I just like sprung up. Okay, so, and you almost like you don't want to have like any sort of embarrassment towards it. I think we could definitely integrate a kid in because kids
dress him up as a beer can.
dude, babies do so well on TikTok. So like
Really?
we'd probably have to separate the alcohol and the kid.
Do you make his own account? Johnny Poops.
Johnny Poops?
Johnny
Johnny
Pants.
Poops.
Like a
Dude,
little
imagine
baby.
a diaper line like that. You could probably crush and make
Yeah,
so
it
much
would
money.
be like gourmet in the canned tit milk,
Dude.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
like-
so much
You're going
you
into
can
the
do.
espresso
It's
martini
RTD.
field.
It's
It's
RTD.
RTD.
That's an
That's a
RTD.
new
milk.
term I picked up today.
Ready to
drink.
RTD.
Yeah, I'll give you all of them. That's
Where would you go with your baby? What kind
Ready to
of?
dump.
I mean, look, there's so much you could do with a kid. It's almost like having a dog. Like dogs on TikTok.
There's
like-
so much you
You're
can
like
do
just
with a
looking
kid.
at him like, how can I capitalize?
There's so
on
much
you?
content with you, you little fucker. Yeah, I mean, you can have them dress up. You can have them like drink, like you said, little like milk and stuff. I think that's a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Is like a higher level RTD baby formula brand.
Yeah.
Like not just your regular bullshit. This
Like
is like
it's like-
high class.
Yeah, filled with minerals
like he's
and vitamins.
like Pinky's up drinking that stuff. Your little
His
baby.
little fat
You heard it here,
pinky.
folks. John's gonna have a child for influence.
Listen, that's
Just
it.
through the soul
Now you're
reason.
onto
Keep this
something,
train
man.
rocking.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
I had a
shit.
dream the other day that I had a baby, and you know that what expression when people say like, you know, the first time I looked at my baby in the eyes, like I became so selfless in the world.
Yeah.
I had that experience in a dream.
Wow.
Like I already felt that emotion of like, oh my god, I'm so selfless now. I have a baby.
How'd you feel?
And then
when
you
woke
just
up?
go out and get hammered and forget to buy
Fuck that.
diapers.
Yeah,
and,
well
like,
now, I mean, like now when I have my real first child, God willing, then I won't have that feeling because I already had one. with my
It's gonna be like, all right,
But-
another kid. Yeah.
But yeah, man, listen, I think the baby's a good idea.
We have to work
So
on
so are you gonna like hop into any other substances as far as the Johnny brand, like Johnny Tokes, Johnny Crack,
right. Okay. Oh, like so,
or
like,
just
like
do
drugs
maybe
and
like
alcohol.
Johnny drugs?
Oh wow.
Right.
How have you not gotten into the like, hey dad,
The
what are we
le-
making today?
On
Heroin.
the serious note is that
Heroin.
like the legal weed space, I'm sure like actually could become something to explore. Like
Well, listen, we've done CBD promotion
have?
before. We have actually a company we're planning on working with that's CBD and THC.
Wow.
is it Cushy Magic or Cushy Packs or Kush Magic?
No,
Cushy
um,
Magic.
I
Kush?
can't disclose the name yet because
Cushy
we
drink.
haven't signed anything
Okay.
yet. But they
Okay.
work with some really big brands that you guys would know.
Fuck yeah.
Which is really dope. But the problem
weed's,
is my dad.
weed's tight, dude.
Weed's so tight.
Weed
dude.
is tight.
I don't really smoke that much, and my dad doesn't smoke at all.
Yeah.
So we get the questions all like, "Hey, do you guys burn?" And I'm like, "No, not really." But I do think there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
Medicinally, and it helps you with anxiety and stuff like that. So I'm not opposed to it at all, and I think it does align. Because it's the same shit, bro. Like you could look at alcohol and be like, "This is disgusting. This is you're getting drunk and
right.
ruining your life," or
Oh yeah.
you're experiencing a really nice a nice tasting cocktail. So you could play both sides of that for
That's the
marijuana
hard thing,
too.
right? Because there's only so many cocktails that exist. When you run out of cocktails, do you ever say, "Hey, Dad, what are we making today?" We're making crack. We're making
like-
heroin.
Or like we're making poison.
and your dad's like, you take the spoon, you fucking put the
And now
H
he's
in it.
teaching- yeah,
No,
yeah.
he says you take the spoon and then like put some black tar in it. and just-
Like tap the spoon.
What are we making today? We're making meth. And then it's like, you
Right,
guys
right.
fucking cooking up. We're doing Deemsters. Where you
I think
do-
I need you guys on
the
my.
po- a poison would
Imagine
be
DMT.
your dad's like, so I just light the pipe and he smokes DMT.
smoke,
And-
smoke the glass,
it's a-
smoke meth.
Smoke the glass.
holy
But
shit.
glass
It's
is
You
just
guys
a
are
minute
onto something.
video of your dad just like fucking tripping
That's
out with
terrible.
Sinatra playing. Fly me to the moon.
Well, no, I always imagine Johnny Poisons would be like formaldehyde, like this, and then it's
Right.
like
Give
one-
this to your
one
best
special
friend.
ingredient, rat poison. And then it's
Nice.
like,
Oh,
Give this
cool.
to your enemies, they'll be dead in a day.
Maybe I should like slip in some like tincture THC and see how he reacts to it.
Yeah,
what?
that'd be
Dude,
interesting.
that'd be funny.
Drug your dad on TikTok.
Right? Like, I'm
Hey,
about to go
today,
drug my
guys, we're
dad.
drugging my dad. What are we
Oh
making?
my
that.
god! In the name of creation.
You're not gonna believe what happens next.
Yeah, that would
Part
be all,
two.
all caps. I
Part
drugged
two.
my
Yeah,
dad.
yeah,
You won't
yeah.
believe what
Oh
happened.
my god, such
Swipe
great
up.
clickbait. Clickbait is there, man.
Yeah,
I
dude.
could imagine.
Clickbait is good stuff.
Holy shit.
All right, well, hey, man, we're rounding up towards the end here. What do you got to plug? What's going on in Johnny Drinks that the people need to know about?
God, what do I gotta plug? I mean, right now, there's a lot of
Plug it up.
a lot of things in the works, so not much to plug. I mean, there are plenty of brands that I work with that obviously you got. I'm pretty honest, and you pretty much know the brands that I work with and the ones that I don't. whether it's an ad or not. Most of the stuff that I use in my videos is a sponsored or partnered brand or whatever it is, like if it's liquor or the glasses we're using, things like that. And really the only reason is like I like to be super selective and exclusive with things that we actually like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
if I find a tequila brand that we really enjoy, the people, the obviously liquor itself, and everything else going on, I'll stick to that. It makes it very easy for me.
Right.
So nobody directly I need to plug.
Well, even just yourself. Instagram.
Yeah, I mean,
TikTok,
if you want to
just
follow
plug-
me at John Rondi, JohnRondi on both TikTok and Instagram. YouTube, which is Johnny Drinks. But yeah, like we said, we want to start doing a lot more in-person things. So if you guys are in New Jersey, yeah, stay tuned. And maybe it's a social hour or something like that.
Got a little like live podcast going.
Yeah, we
maybe
might
or something.
have a little something with that. You never
All right,
know
well,
if this
if it works.
if Halloween works out, dude.
I'm trying, man. So this is when do you think this is gonna air?
This is gonna air today.
Today. So if this is gonna
by,
air
like,
today.
the afternoon.
Okay, so I have a Halloween party trying in the works. There's a lot of places that have turned us down. I don't know why. But if I can get that going, that's gonna be a good time. And then maybe
That'd
we'll
be
have a
dope.
little guest appearance here with you guys there.
Yeah, dude,
Absolutely.
definitely. We'll
We'd love to
just
do
get
maybe
everyone to sit down with their costumes. and
Another
just-
live
dude.
party pod.
Yeah.
People love this.
They did love it. They
Oh
did
man,
love
I
it.
really hope we can get that going. But yeah, if you're an area or a venue that wants to host this, let me know. Reach out.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Well, hey guys, same shit for us. Good Crack Podcast on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, we're gonna start going crazy on TikTok now that we
Go
got
crazy on
we
it.
got the gurus gonna help us and
Yeah.
guide us
Yeah.
along.
Yeah, we're gonna probably do a video today. Something light for you guys. But yeah, hey, keep smoking crack and keep spreading the good
And
crack.
keep drinking Johnny drinks.
Yeah, keep
Smoke that
showing
motherfucking
support
glass.
for this guy. He's
Absolutely.
crushing it. And hey guys, Brian Laundrie's still out there.
And listen, if a guy with if Rondi can't find him, no one.
No
can.
one can.
No.
And so just watch your back and smoke him if
we
you
want
got
to give a
him.
big shout out to the Good Crack listener of the week, Brian Laundrie. He's a fan
Yeah,
of the
he's a big
show.
fan
He's
of the
legit.
show.
He's
Brian,
out there.
wherever you are, turn yourself in or take your own life.
Well, we're
Right.
working on doing like a Snowden thing with him. If he doesn't take his
if
own
we
life,
find
or turn
out he's
himself
in Russia, we're gonna have him come on
come
the pod.
on like Zoom. He'll be like right up here.
We'll blur out his face and he'll be like, "I am Brian Laundrie."
Yeah.
Wow.
I
That'd
don't
be
know
fun.
how this went this direction.
I don't know.
I got a
Yeah.
vendetta against his laundry character.
Yeah.
Stupid fuck.
But guys,
So-
smoke him if you got him. Thanks for joining us.
Smoke him if you got him. Thank
We'll
you,
see
John.
you next
Thanks for
week.
having me, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
John.
Cool.
We got a great ad for you guys today from, I think, my favorite company on the planet.
definitely.
It's 321 cigarettes, folks. 3, 2, 1 reason to smoke cigarettes. What are they, Joe? Tell me some.
It's funny. People smoke cigarettes and then, they might get sick. What's cool about 321 is you're going to smoke, you're going to get the nicotine buzz, you're going to get all the good effects, but you're smoking something that is astronomically healthier for you. Fresh, roasted tobacco from the fields of Connecticut. Perfectly hand-rolled into a perfectly crafted cigarette,
Well,
a heater.
What was that? Oh, I'm just getting word right now from 321. They did it, folks.
Yeah, they did.
They created
They did.
cigarettes for your pets.
And as we discussed
And
last
we
week,
can now announce here live on the
All right.
321 podcast, they make cigarettes for dogs now,
Yep.
cigarettes for cats. Give them to your hamster. Give them to your rabbit. They're healthy.
listen, people aren't the only animals that are stressed.
Yeah. Do you guys think you're fucking special? You're these stupid little fucking things on a floating rock in space who just happen to learn how to fucking drive cars and build roads and make houses.
And create technology.
But
and-
that doesn't mean that your horse,
No.
Charlie, doesn't want to have a smoke.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that your dog Buster doesn't want to light up a couple bogeys heaters and put a couple back after a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Your cat,
Yeah.
Oscar, that little fuck, because I hate cats.
He's always
I'm just
whacking
kidding.
at you, and you want to know why? He's withdrawing from nicotine. And he's
Folks,
like, dude,
the
feed me."
scientists at 321 have found out after a recent study that most animals, especially the most aggressive ones, are 10 times less likely to attack their human individual or even get angry or growl when you're taking away their food out of their bowl after they've smoked a couple 321 cigarettes. You want your animal to be smoking 321s, guys. They make them docile, friendly, fun, cool creatures.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that girl? She was really big in the news recently. She was a big like vlogger. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one? What was it? The one that she was in a van or something?
Yeah. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I think it's like Gibby Petito.
Yes,
Gibby
that girl.
Tomato.
She was. I loved her stuff, her content.
Yeah, well, she loved smoking,
she smoked.
but she didn't smoke 3-2-1.
What ended up happening to that girl?
Yeah, I think you can get the idea.
Listen, folks, your pets are doing it.
If
Your kids are doing it.
if you want any chance at like actually living another year or two and not dying in the world's catastrophe,
3, 2,
smoke
1
3-2-1.
cigarettes, folks. What else can we
So
say?
yeah, you're gonna go to. Oh, sorry, you were gonna say something.
No, I wasn't gonna say.
Say it.
I was gonna say smoke them if you got them, but I figured we'd do that at the end.
Oh yeah, no, we got to give the code.
You gotta
We
get the code.
www.321cigarettes.com/crack, and you're gonna use code. What's the code again? I can't
You're gonna
say.
use code Brian Laundry, and your pets are doing it.
For 50% off
50%
your
off
retail or
cigarettes.
wholesale box.
3, 2, 1, folks. Smoke them if you got them.